meeting is being recorded.
All right, we'll open at 6 o'clock. Just sign the minutes. The next thing up is public comment. Rick?
Let's see. I didn't know about the $1,600 that we were supposed to get for the fire department. We never got an explanation. I was wondering if that just said we didn't need it.
I'm sorry. Oh,
Or I thought it was supposed to be the secretary or something for them.
Yeah.
Wasn't that what that was about?
yep. Well, what had kind of happened with it is, it was supposed to be more of a job than it turned out to be.
Yeah.
So I just didn't really feel it was necessary to leave that in their budget. I know that there was a lot of other things that they really needed, and that their budget was gonna end up being a lot more than it's been in the past, and
So do they have a secretary? I mean, it's, or, I don't understand the fire department thing. I'm confused about it.
Yeah.
Is somebody from the town looking over or what? Or,
The town manager oversees the fire department.
yeah,
And then the stipend that Marty was referring to was a stipend for basic administration of the records.
Payroll is.
okay, so we're not doing that, is what you're saying?
No, she's saying she waived the stipend that goes along with that job.
Oh, okay. All right. Just, you know, so.
Not that it isn't a controversy on my part, because I think the clerk within the entire municipal system should treat everything, not the clerk, but the town manager, should treat everything in the system. And the payroll should go through one person at one time and just be done bulkily. And the salary would include that they get anyway, not to have a separate.
which is
Salary.
pretty much what it ended up being anyways,
Yeah.
which is why I didn't really feel like it needed to be anything more.
Yeah, I mean, I complained about that over the years, but now it's corrected.
And this, the last meeting, which made a comment about $25,000 at the cemetery, did we find it?
There's some literature right there on that counter.
Yeah,
Yeah, you can take a look at it. I researched it actually 6 years back.
yeah,
And I'll talk about that when it comes up.
okay, that's good. I'm glad about that, okay. Let's see. And, well, John's not here tonight, but, we had he made a comment about looking back further. I was just wondering if there was any discussion on that, or do we,
There's open discussions with the auditor, yes.
excuse me,
There's ongoing discussions with the auditor,
with you guys?
yes.
And that's being done right now.
And this is a different auditor?
No, it's the same one. They're just gonna do something, a little different. This is gonna be more than the audit. They're gonna start, doing the check recs and stuff, so.
Oh,
And that's what John's been asking about.
oh, cool,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, because I really think from what I've talked to the people around the public, I think most people I've talked to before, that just a lot of them didn't even understand what happened. You know, back when we had the 1.5 year taxes.
Mhm.
I know in my family, there's a lot of discussion, and I say, we should come and speak up, but I guess they're leaving it to me. But, okay, so, let's see. On the public works, I had a figure here, I figured it out. Miles, I was still getting 3 miles per gallon at that town truck.
Oh, I don't know. It's not many, I know that.
I know it was I don't know, 3 or 4 months back, it was talked about that it was only getting 3 miles per gallon. I think it was good.
That sounds awfully low. I know it doesn't get much, like, I'm thinking like
I don't
between
know where
4 and 10 or something.
Okay, so I don't know where that figure, but if when I'm figuring out, it's costing us almost $46 a yard to haul that they're using that truck for. Haul one yard of gravel from Willimantic to just an average destination in town here. I just kind of wonder if that's even feasible. I mean, we could hire it out for $20 a yard. You know what I'm saying? It just doesn't need, I just wondered if we could look into that and see the cost of what it's costing the town.
Yeah, there's also one of the things that is open-ended right now is a much larger discussion about public works, scope, services, equipment, in-house versus contracting, et cetera. So that type of math is part of that.
Okay, is it, you know, I just wondered if we looked into that. Then just a little bit. I don't even know if I should bring it up, but you know, figures out to the increase that you want to give them is almost like 20% increase. I think the 8.2% is my feeling. That's a high increase. I don't think that many people are getting that type of a raise. But 20%, he doesn't want it, or he hasn't had the license.
Yeah, so this is not the time to have personnel discussions.
Right, okay. But we hadn't discussed it. I just was wondering.
It's not a subject for discussion.
Okay. Yeah, I'm assuming that you're discussing it. That what you're
The
saying.
town staff, it's a town personnel discussion, yes.
The other thing is, you know, when you look at the handbook, the town employee handbook, there's a lot of things in there that I think have not been done correctly.
Okay, I would love to get your feedback
Okay.
on,
Yeah, I know
anything
this
that's on your
isn't the
mind.
time to say it. I'm just saying, because we couldn't go through everything in there that so is there like how does the public get?
you're welcome to contact us anytime, Rick.
On the other hand, the people are gonna get to vote at the annual meeting as to whether or not they decide, and they can always motion that downward, and then the people vote on it, and get what you get.
That's correct, yeah.
Okay, let's see. I think that's it. I just wish somebody would check in on the figures of that truck ticket. I just think they're paying double.
Gas mileage of vehicles is an important part of the public works discussion.
Yeah,
Yes,
okay.
appreciate your oversight. Thank you. Richard?
First one is ditch mowing. This doesn't, I mean, she gave you the information here. She just told me they didn't have a contract and stuff.
We did have a contract.
Huh?
We did have a
We
contract
did have a contract,
Yes.
so how come I didn't get it?
because the parties can't find them, so we have to
Well,
rewrite the
that's not
contract.
excusable to anything. But we're gonna move on from
Understand.
that. But, the other thing of it is on the ditch mowing, there was no signs put out, there was no hazard lights, no registration on the tractor, and was he bonded?
I'm not aware. We can look into those issues
Well,
for you.
and that one should have came in this, right here, and didn't. You know, and it's, you know, we never get what we pay for. Every time we put up money for something, we never get what we pay for. So we'll move on from that. The quorum being fair and professional. Do you see that in these meetings?
The what? I'm sorry. I
The
can't hear you.
quorum being fair and professional. Do you see that in these meetings all the time? Does anybody look into any of this?
I don't know what you're referring to.
The quorum is a thing that's written up about at all meetings, especially when it comes to the select boards in town.
Mhm.
All right, so look into that. What about the town manager? How are we making out with that?
It's an ongoing process.
Phil? And we just can't train somebody either. We gotta have somebody come in here, be professional. We don't have time to train somebody.
Thank you, Mr. Allard.
All right. Do we have a time limit on the CDL license for Steve?
Not to my knowledge.
Well, what's taking so long? It's been 2 years now.
It's a personnel discussion.
Well, people need to step on it because we're paying for something you get, yeah. So executive sessions. You know, you guys need to read into this because you're supposed to do some executive session. You open your meeting, go into executive session, come out with an answer or whatever the verdict is on what you're doing, then go back into the meeting. Has anybody even looked into that? Instead of having them at the end of the meeting and you're not telling anybody afterwards.
We do not make decisions in closed session, and we do not make decisions at the end of meetings
You
that
need to read
have.
into this stuff, Tyler. You need to read into this stuff, because this needs to be done professionally. I'm trying to keep this professional.
All right, Mr. Allard, I appreciate your feedback.
It's not feedback, you need to look into this.
Thank you, Mr. Allard.
All right, have a good night, that's all I like to say.
Public comment is closed. Next up is select board reports. Eric?
Oh, the cemetery stuff. It's right up there. Did you get it? Okay. Well, anyway, I did look into the budgets for 6 years dating back to 2015 through 2021, and there's 6 years of annual budgets. Starting out at 215 to 216, we had 26,000 budgeted. We had 13,109 expended. Unexpended was 12,891. 2016 to 2017, we had a budget of 27,000. 12,141 was expended. Unexpended was 14,858. I'll give you a copy. I will get a copy. 2017, 2018, 27,000 again. 12,800 was expended. 14,200 was not. And then the budget went down from there in 2018, 2019. It was 5,000 that was budgeted, nothing was spent. So basically the unexpended was 5,000. 2019, 2020, the same. 5,000 was budgeted, but 1,400 was expended, 3,600 was unexpended. And then 2020 to 2021, 6,000 was budgeted, 0 was expended, 6,000 is unexpended. So if you take those 6 years, it was a total of $96,000 that was budgeted for the cemetery. 39,450 and 46 cents was expended. Unexpended was 56,549 and 54 cents. And all of that, as far as I know, went back into surplus, undesignated, so that it's just like the other day, we used that surplus money to, it's gonna have to be voted on. To take out X amount of dollars, $50,000 was it?
Yeah.
To lower our mill rate, or to keep it about the same. And so occasionally that money is used for those things, but everything that gets taken out of that has to be voted upon by the people. So, but you're right, Richard, it wasn't, you said somewhere between 26 and 28 level. Right. There were a couple of years where that $27,000 was brought up. But I don't recall, I was in the first year of the 27,000 that I didn't have my feet on the ground. And the next year of the 27,000, I think it was just one of those projects that we didn't get done. We had a turnover of town managers. And I think that was part of it, just like part of what's going on right now. There's a lot of things that we're doing the best that we can to get done. We know that there's issues out there, but
A lot of it was, a lot of the older people that go to that cemeteries come in and talk to him in the other, town manager multiple times, and they just kind of got brushed off. And that's what brings a lot of harsh feelings toward the whole situation.
well, I understand that whole situation too, because I have family members up on that hillside, the Greenville Cemetery. There's some issues down there, but the older cemeteries are what need to work.
And I appreciate that.
So, and oh my God, yeah. So I did measure the paved section of the Willimantic Road, going down, going back. I had 4801 when I went down the hill. I had 4805 coming up the hill. I averaged that to 4803. The distance that we got from the paving company was 4925. And I'm assuming, and I've seen them do this, they take a truck and they put their hand outside the window and they take the wheel and they just run that. So you're gonna get probably some difference, between somebody that actually walks the road and somebody that drives the road. But that's a difference of, 100 and some odd feet. But I'm wondering, I did measure the unpaved section from the new tar to the actual town line, and that's 130 feet. If you add that 130 feet to the 4803, that's 4933. So that's only 8 feet off of what should have been paved. I've got a theory, but I don't know if it's right or not, that the foreman who originally measured that, I believe he measured it correctly from the town line to the Stewart Road, or just above the Stewart Road. But when the paving crew came, there was nobody there to necessarily direct them, even though there was an obvious break between the Willimantic section that was paved and where they started off, And I think that was the issue, that there was no follow through to make sure that the job was started correctly, So that's why the difference in paving. But there is a difference of 130 feet. Anyway, that's all I got.
Yeah, thanks. Sue?
What happens now?
The town will decide if we want to have that paved as part of our public works planning.
So we're gonna have to pay someone to do that again?
We did not pay somebody to pave that.
We'll have, while they were here, the contract stated from Stewart Road to the town line. And the footages are there.
Yeah.
So what's the problem?
Yeah.
They didn't do it.
Thank you. Sue,
Thank you up.
thank you for your comment.
So I know, town office has been busy lately. I was just looking at minutes on the website and just, I know it's in process probably, but the minutes agenda for April 1st. I don't see on there. It's-
April 1st.
Yeah,
I don't think we had a meeting on April 1st.
where was it?
It'd be the
Oh, no, it wasn't.
second and fourth Thursdays.
Right.
14th and 28th.
I missed a little bit of that. 28. Oh, it is on there. I'm sorry. Never mind. I don't know what I was looking at then. All right, scratch that. So just the draft of our select board letter to remind you guys, sent that out.
When is the date you want to get everything to printer? Probably already.
Today, but there's a lot of other things that have fallen behind on it too, because, we didn't have Elena this week, so. I was really hoping to have it done, as far as I know, she will be in tomorrow. Maybe we can still make it happen, so ASAP.
I just wanted to formally thank Steve and Hunter for putting up all the flags. It looks really, really
I've given them
nice.
lots of kudos for that.
Yeah, beautiful.
They look great.
Yeah. And thank you for ordering all that.
Happy to spend appropriated funds.
That's great. On May 3rd, I attended this county broadband meeting in Dover Foxcroft. There were 18 people from 9 towns, including the Economic Development Council, Chamber of Commerce, and press were there. The purpose of the meeting, they said, was to create a steering committee to achieve universal broadband access across the county, including accessing funding, and they had a couple of people there explaining all the grants that are available. And part of the proposed plan includes digital equity and digital inclusion, which they broke down as affordable broadband, affordable equipment, digital literacy training and support, which I thought was really cool, like the library could get involved with, and public broadband access. 4 of the towns there, Corina, Dover, Foxcroft, Dexter, and Garland, signed up to be on the steering committee. Abbott, Brownville, and Bower Bank, we're gonna go back and check with their select boards. And they have a meeting on June 7th to get started with this. So I know that we kind of are a little ahead of the the game here. But I was just wondering what Premium Choice's process or progress is, like where are they in terms of everybody in town being able to access it, and not just the Main Street?
Yeah, so this, I checked in with them maybe 2 weeks ago, and the first process as far as implementation goes is to get the licensing from CMP or whoever owns the poles, and so they were expecting to have that finished, I think by like late May, early June, and then be done with the rollout by July, end of July.
Okay.
So we should be by August, we should have,
Do you know if it will go down the other roads like Elliottsville? and
it's all
Winter?
town roads.
All right,
Yeah.
very good, very good. Okay. I didn't, they asked me and I said I wasn't sure, what our progress was on that. So. And speaking of Wi-Fi, is the Axiom, the town Wi-Fi up in, any
Yeah.
glitches?
Yeah, so the connectivity issue in the middle has not been fixed yet, but we do have permission from some building owners to relocate the repeater. So
Oh, yeah.
we,
Is that the one in the?
that's currently in the church.
Yeah. That was the
So that was the major hurdle, so
Okay.
progress there.
And just so we don't forget, it is ATV season, and we said last fall that we would kind of pick up and have meetings or some kind of policy or such so that it would be kind of, a consistency to, requests for many for ATV access on roads. So I just didn't want to lose sight of that. And then I just want to mention, and I don't see anybody here other than Sandra and I from the Monson Collaborative. They're thinking of having a potluck at the town meeting. So just a heads up on that, and hopefully somebody from that group will reach out. And
I think it was actually bicentennial. This came
bicentennial
out
stuff.
of,
Did you hear about that in New Sweden about 15 years ago, where half the town was poisoned at an annual meeting?
we're not gonna try to repeat it.
There'll be some investigation into that, right?
There was.
It was fun, it would just be a nice way to bring people together in a relaxed setting, so.
Before, after?
Before, 5 o'clock, before the 6 o'clock meeting,
Gotcha.
if that's okay. And who says if it's okay?
Town manager, I guess. Is the gym available at 5?
It is.
It is now. Okay, I just wanted to make sure everybody knew about that.
I think we did that a different year, or before something, I don't know, the recreation committee did it. Maybe it wasn't before the town meeting, but it was. It was just simple, like chili and soups and things.
Okay. And speaking of the rec committee, are we trying to bring that back?
Did Devin reach out? Yeah, so Devin did follow up with me, Devin Clausen.
Yeah.
What's her new last name?
Walker.
Walker, Devin Walker. Has been thinking about what we might be able to do.
Okay, very good. That'd be awesome. That's all I got.
I was wondering, I forgot another sheet that I had, but I'm gonna name these things off quickly. I'll give you the list, so you don't have to try to write it down now, okay?
Okay.
But these are just things that I think we need to follow up on. I know that some of them are hot topics anyway. But that 1,400 feet of road ditching and culvert work inspection. Of course, we've got the municipal review committee for trash and recycling. We got the plowing contract renewal coming up soon. I don't know if I'll be around for any of that. Wi-Fi issues, which you just talked about. Cemetery road work and brush and tree work. Speed issues in town.
Tyler and I are, I'm sorry, Tyler and I are meeting with the DOT planner, regional planner tomorrow morning
Spikes on the road.
to go around, so, yeah, I know.
That'll work.
That'll be big on our list.
And also, we didn't finish the road work inspection with the DOT, and I'm sure that he would be interested in coming up and just finishing up what was done last summer. We only think half of it was looked at.
Mhm.
Also, the access to the town office for ADA. finish the fire exit work at the gym, the side doors. One door needs to be replaced and the other door, we talked about putting a roof on. Again, the sign ordinance. Establish a road committee. The town monies question, audit, and I think that's more of a reconciliation of the checks that, you know. But whatever comes up will come up. The solar panel buyout. Basketball court, tennis court. Complete the comprehensive plan. Just brush cutting without hiring a contractor. I think we could do a few miles of that just by hand. It's a lot of little dinky stuff. I did have playground equipment repairs, but I noticed that it's been fixed, but there's one lower one that's missing a bracket now. But it's not really something that's needed, but it's just kind of floppy. The question about the town office outdoor faucet for public use. And property maintenance. The property maintenance refers to Forest Avenue and also now Penny Hill. Probably should have been earlier, but what I asked Marty about, even on Forest Avenue, the town owns so much from the center of the road out. I'm fairly certain that some of those houses, when you go in on the right-hand side, they're encroaching on the road and their junk piles encroaching on the road. I think we own so many feet off the
Yeah.
road.
Yeah.
And it's building right up again. So, that's it.
Thanks.
Thanks for doing that. I was gonna go through all our minutes for the last year as well. I got only to a couple of months.
I may have missed some, but I,
But thank you.
Yeah. The only thing I want to mention right now is just if we can get the updated budget back out to the budget committee, but it sounds like Elena wasn't here. Is that?
Yeah, and there's been a lot going on. But yeah, definitely we will. They'll either be available here in the office, or I can email them to the people that I have email addresses for.
She's coming tomorrow?
Yeah, yeah, but that should be something fairly quick to do. But we have a long list, but I think that just to get those printed off, and as long as they've been updated,
Yeah.
which they probably have. But yeah.
Okay, great. Festival committee. No festival committee. Bicentennial committee.
Things are proceeding. Lots of stuff happening in May. The gallery opening on Friday evening, May 27th. Plant sale on May 28th. Fire department boot drive on May 29th. And Memorial Day parade on May 30th, and Veterans Memorial dedication. We were looking for, well, it's really Molly at the post office who's trying to get more people in the parade, but decorated bicycles, lawn tractors, whatever, just people to be part of the parade.
Is that different than the one that Tootie Bennett's organizing?
Yes,
Okay.
this is the Memorial Day. Tootie's is going to be,
Is the big parade.
it's huge. It's bigger every day. So. But this is more of a fun thing. Kids with bicycles and
Is that,
costumes and whatever. So.
is that the one, was it last year or the year before that had the dinosaur suit?
It was
and the
last year.
tractors and stuff?
Summer fest, that's summer
Okay.
fest.
Right, right.
So we have lots of parades this year. Everything proper stuff. And, you know, as I said last time, there's ongoing things for the bicentennial. Stay tuned, it's getting bigger and better.
Super. Beautification committee.
Sandra mentioned the plant sale we have on Saturday, the 28th of May, from 10 to 2. And if anybody has plants or seedlings, they can to donate, just drop them off at the site at 10 a.m.
Before 10 a.m.
Before 10 a.m. And it's next to the Lake Shore House. We'll be out there setting up around 8:30 or so. And Sandra's been in the process of getting plants, and you'll see flowers around town and all. So spruce them up. Anything else?
We got the flags up. We keep thinking. So we'll get plants soon. I get a big shopping Saturday probably for decorative plants for the town. So it'll look nice again.
Super. That's it. Yeah, great. Old business, property maintenance.
Okay, so Eric had mentioned, 96 Tenny Hill, and Sue had said that she had heard something about that as well, so, Kent did go and check it out, and apparently nobody is living there right now. It's in very bad condition, and apparently, from what I understand, the people who were living there, David Ray moved them somewhere else. So right now, we're just in the process of figuring out what the next step is. I was told about some state regulations that need to be followed, and so I'm gonna let Kent know that tomorrow. Also, the house up with all the junk vehicles with smashed windshields in them, he's gonna be addressing that as well, right up here. I don't know the number. I believe the house is owned by Beth Stevens, the red one. So just to know that that's what's happening with that, because it was brought up, and he's gonna start, yeah.
There was a wheeler up there today, up at, where this house that was loading up metal.
Oh.
It was a boxed-in wheeler.
Okay.
I mean, but
On Tenny Hill?
on Penny Hill,
Okay.
all the metal junk there, I don't know how much they loaded on. But
Oh,
I
okay.
went by the
Well,
morning.
maybe somebody's doing
Yeah.
something with it. So I believe the first step is to send a letter to the owner of the house. So that will probably be the first step, but, so that's just where that stands. Just wanted to give you a little update on that.
Thank you. Water Street?
That is out to bid. Unfortunately, I didn't realize the cutoff date time was so far away from the publishing of the paper. So apparently it's Monday at noon, so not Thursday, so,
An extra week, basically.
yeah, so that will be published tomorrow. But it is posted on the website and Facebook and stuff like that, so that's just, I have not heard from the gentleman that owns the property. I did track the letter. I want to say it was probably last week, and it hadn't even been received yet. It set out for delivery, but that was like a week or so at least after I had mailed it. So I don't know if he's just not claiming it or if it hasn't gotten there. I'll check it again, but it's up to bid.
New business, grading bids.
Okay, so we got one. There you go. And just a little backstory on that. So the gentleman who submitted the bid, there was some specs and stuff in grading specs that were listed on the bid package. And he told me that those specs really can't be met because a lot of our roads don't have enough gravel on them. So I asked him to just kind of note that in his bid. And he was also wondering why the Moose Run Road was not on the list. And I pretty much used the same information that was used last year. I wasn't sure why, whether we had an agreement with Abbott or something for that. So I did tell him that he could, and he said that he's done the grading in the past and did do that road. So I told him if he wanted to just bid that section separately. And I didn't know if we could find out, do any of you know anything about that at all?
The
Why
only
that
thing is, I know that, pretty sure that Abbott did that themselves last
Okay.
year to their town line.
Okay,
And we have just a very small portion of that road,
okay.
actually from the town line. I forget the person who lives up in there. But anyway, I don't even think it's a mile. Is it half mile maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's
So
not
was it
a
sure if
big.
it was oversight that it didn't get put on the list, or if there was a reason why? it wasn't
I
put
don't
on the
know,
list?
but remember, there was two issues. We didn't have anybody that was interested in plowing it or grading it because of that big rock supposedly that was the size of a house that John Moore put a crowbar on, and lifted it out. Anyway,
Okay,
And I wondered too, because the plow contract on the North Guilford Road went to 150 rather than the town line. And so I wondered if we were trading off.
I think that's the reason why it was, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Again, you're gonna have to get more details on that. project.
All right, so we have a bid here from Freeman Construction. There's 3 years, so it's $7,000 for the first year. $7,000 for all 3 years, and years 2 and 3 have adders for fuel prices. In addition, there's a per mile price of $778 a mile for additional work. It notes that a gallon road grader will be used, and then there are notes, commentary on the condition of individual roads. I think one thing here you can keep about this one too. One thing we'll want to do too is just confirm this feedback, but also with our own read on what work we were planning to do on these roads, and if any of them had culverts that we were planning to replace, et cetera.
Barrows Falls Road is the
Falls
only
Road
one,
is
I
good.
believe, that has a culvert that's for sure going to be replaced.
And I just want to remind everybody, we had a problem with this contractor, okay?
It doesn't ring a bell to me.
Okay, well, anyway, he was the one that graded the road and left a lip that was about 4 inches high to prevent the water from running directly into the ditch. So the water was running whatever the length of the hill was, and then finally eroding itself out into the ditch, because what it did was it continued to carry until there was enough velocity and mass to break through and wash out the road.
Mhm.
So what he needs to do is, when he grades, he needs to get out to the point of where the ditch drops and grade back into the road so that there's no lip. Let's see if I can do this. I'm gonna do this roughly.
You have to sign the contract, too.
Yeah, yeah. I know this is kind of sucky, but that's the way it is. So this is the center of the road, right? And most roads have got a little bit of a crown to it. What he did is when he cut the edge, he cut it high, so that it was very difficult for the water to go through. What he needs to do is bring his grader blade out to here to bring this all back in, And unfortunately, because it hasn't been done right probably for a few years, a lot of that, it becomes sediment. It isn't really gravel, it's a lot of soil and stuff like that. So you're bringing a lot of that stuff that's kind of almost like soil back into the road. But it is fill. And a lot of our roads are so bony right now, meaning just big rocks in the middle of the road, that's why he was saying you really can't do much with the road itself, but it might add a little value to him to bring that back. And I was just suggesting to Marty here earlier today that Steve should go out with him and just say, this is what we
Well, I
want.
had to wonder if somebody had gone and looked at the work and said, this isn't acceptable, maybe it wouldn't have become a problem.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I was gonna say that too.
Rick?
I remember when we had the issue, Buddy made the statement, it said that as long as he was a selectman, that he didn't want to hire him back. You remember that? And I don't know what the issue, I don't remember if it was that issue, or I think there was some other issues besides just that.
Yeah, that was the biggest one because all the roads had that big cut edge. And
You might, I don't know, ask Buddy, but
well, I got it from,
I don't know exactly what happened there, but I know that there was a lot of people that weren't happy.
Yeah.
With what happened.
Catco stopped me too, and of course he started telling me about the same thing. I said, I know,
Yeah,
but,
yeah,
and I think that was the problem. But I mean, it's like anything else. If you don't have somebody that kind of demonstrates what you want for work and actually goes out there and says, this is what I want you to do, sometimes you just do what they need to do or what they want to do.
So, and in the contract, it should be specified. I don't know,
Yeah,
back then it was that.
I don't think it was. I don't know.
Do you remember when that was?
It wasn't last year, it was the year before. Yeah, nobody did say that, And I have the same drawing in my notes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you know, anyway, I think Steve could cover that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do we want to, I mean, I think just as far as the next step, we don't need to make any decisions on the bid, but if we want to have them go out and validate what we're talking about now, and it
Who's
gets,
the contractor or,
yeah, the contractor.
okay.
And have you and Steve talked about these road conditions?
Yeah, he does agree that, what he says is true about there not being enough gravel on a lot of the roads. The Barrows Falls Road, I guess, would be the worst, that's just pretty much down to ledge. So yeah, he is aware, and we've talked about, the lack of oversight when a job is done, the work being checked over and stuff, and he's willing to go out and make sure that everything looks okay and there's not berms on the side of the road. So yeah, and he's aware.
You know, it should be conditional in the contract, that if he doesn't do the job right, he has to go back and fix that.
Mhm.
That's all.
Well, they shouldn't be paid until somebody.
Yeah,
gets
that's right,
there, you
period.
know, and
Yeah,
then,
no, that, we need to do that.
yeah. So yeah, if the contract stated, you know, exactly what it was, you know, somebody with some good road knowledge that knew what specifically to put in there. And then once it was complete, just send somebody out to make sure that it's good and sign off on it.
How much was it, Tyler?
There's 7,000.
Do I remember that there's some money for gravel in the budget?
Mhm.
Yeah.
That can be used to improve these roads?
It wasn't for this, you know,
Should it
actually
be?
adding gravel to the roads, but, I have no idea. We'd have to get somebody to tell us even how much we would need, because I would have no idea, like, you know, I'm sure mileage would need to be measured and,
Yeah, but we do have budget for this type of thing.
So tackling the worst road, the Barrows Fall Road,
Yeah.
might be a thing to target for this year?
yeah, possibly. When we were doing the paving, I remember something being said that that's hardly even a road anymore, and to justify really spending any money on it, you more or less have to rebuild the road, which I don't know
Is
what that
beyond the
is.
scope of what we're talking about.
Yeah, way beyond, I think.
Yes, you need a lot of gravel on the road.
Sorry, so you're saying that Steve has looked through these roads and come up with similar
Yeah,
conclusions here?
because he actually happened to be here when Mark came in and was talking with me about it, and he agreed, and then I asked him again later when it was just he and I, and he said, yeah, they do need a lot of gravel.
Yeah, okay. I don't have this information right here, but would like to kind of compare this feedback and this scope of work with what we were already planning to do this summer for improvements, just to make sure that everything's aligned. I can come in, and me and Steve can chat about it. Actually, it'd be good after tomorrow when the DOT guys are here.
Okay, well, I won't be here next week. But if we could do it before the next meeting, because I know that we don't want to let the window close like we did last year.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe sometime the following week, and then we can get it figured out and make a decision anyways and move forward with it.
Well, Steve knows too, that we can't go up there now, that road is just like concrete,
Yeah.
we're gonna have to wait for some wet weather, and, I'd be glad to go up with Steve, just to talk to him about what I know about it, because we used to do all of our woods roads and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
That'd be-
contractors that we didn't have to follow up on.
Yeah. That would be really helpful.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, Spring Creek Barbecue license renewal.
So it's that time again for them, so they just need to have this signed off so that they can renew their liquor license.
There's nothing new, right?
No, not to my knowledge.
All right, next up is executive session for 1 MRSA, section 4056A, personnel matters. Thank you, everybody.